So in this video, very briefly, it's just a couple of slides, I'm going to show you how you read in data into the RStudio desktop environment. So if you remember, we're thinking about how we structure our projects. We have a .r proj file, which kind of organizes everything. And within our project folder, we've got a number of different folders, such as raw data, tidy data, R scripts, etc. So if we wanted to read our data file here, in this one here, data.csv, and it's in our raw_data folder, we'll be using a function from the tidyverse, and it's this function here, read_csv. So imagine we want to read in this data file, data.csv, and it's stored in the raw data folder. Well, we simply use the function in this way. So read_csv, then brackets, and then within the brackets we put quotes, raw_data, which is the folder name, /, which tells it to go within that folder, and then the file name data.csv. So what this bit does is reads in the data, but this is the important bit as well. This is known as the assignment operator. So this data file that's read in here will be mapped onto a variable that we're calling my_raw_data. So once we've read our data file in and mapped it onto this variable within RStudio, if we were then simply to type my raw data, we'd actually get the data file come up in the console window. So we're going to look at that in a little bit more detail, I think in the next session. So that's about how you read in data that's stored locally. I should say RStudio can read in data in lots of different formats. CSV is perhaps the most common one, but it can also read in data that was saved as an SPSS file, for example. So there's lots of flexibility there as well. So that's about reading in data that's stored locally on your own computer. But sometimes you'll be wanting to read in data, perhaps that's stored somewhere else. And I guess one of the most common places that data can also be stored is on GitHub. So if we were to look at how we read in CSV data from a page such as a GitHub site, it's relatively straightforward as well. So just imagine this case where we're going to be reading in data from, it's called the Tidy Tuesday Challenge. So every Tuesday, RStudio or the Tidy Tuesday people at RStudio kind of release a data set globally, and then everybody around the world kind of plays around with the data set, visualizes it, and then typically we'll post the results on Twitter with the hashtag Tidy Tuesday. So this is an example data set from a previous Tidy Tuesday event. And I kind of like it because it's basically global UFO sightings. So nothing to do with psychology, nothing to do with life sciences, global UFO sightings. So the data file, it's a CSV data file, so think of that as pretty much sort of raw, uncomplicated data, is actually on this web address. So if you were to type in this web address into your web browser, you'd actually see that data file actually in your web browser itself. But we can read in the data straightforwardly, again using the read_csv function, simply by putting in quotes the web address. Okay, so what this will do is read in the data that's at this web address and then map it on to a variable that we've called UFO sightings. So those are kind of two of the most common ways you'll be reading in data in these workshops. There are other ways of reading in data, but these are probably the two best places to start. So what we're going to do in the next video is we're actually going to have a go at running our first script in our RStudio desktop, and that's actually going to be a script to visualize aspects of this global UFO sightings data set. So if you click on the next video, we'll move over to doing that.